In this lesson, we're going to talk about compact discs, or CDs. CDs were first developed to store digital music. Later, the CD technology was adapted to store digital computer data. This was breakthrough technology because CDs were inexpensive to produce and could hold a large amount of data. At the time when the first CD drives for PCs were introduced, we had 20 megabyte hard drives and 40 megabyte hard drives. Then all of a sudden, you could add a CD drive to your PC and have 650 megabytes of storage. We had no idea what to do with all that space. A CD can hold 74 to 80 minutes of audio. A CD is 120 millimeters in diameter and is also 1.2 millimeters thick. There are two CD formats that we need to look at: CD-ROM and CD-RW. CD-ROM stands for Compact Disc Read-Only Memory. CD-ROMs are identical in appearance to audio CDs, and data are stored and retrieved in a very similar manner. CD-ROMs also have LANs and pits and use reflective light to interpret the data on the disk. A standard CD-ROM can actually hold about 737 megabytes of data with error correction, or 847 megabytes total. The first CD-ROM drives transfer data at a rate of 150 kilobytes per second. This 150 kilobyte data rate is the same speed that's used by an audio CD player. However, for PCs, this was a little too slow. Improvements in CD-ROM drive speeds are measured as multiples of this original speed. To calculate your CD-ROM drive's transfer rate, multiply its speed by 150 kilobyte. For example, a 1x drive transfers data at 150 kilobytes per second. A 2x drive would transfer data at 300 kilobytes per second. A 4x drive would transfer data at 600 kilobytes per second, and a 72x CD drive transfers data at up to 10,800 kilobytes per second. The next CD format we need to talk about is a CD-RW. CD-RW stands for Compact Disc Rewritable. This means that a CD-RW disc can be written, read many times, erased, and rewritten. They have a capacity of about 650 megabytes. It's like having a removable hard drive because you can insert the disk into the disk drive on one PC, add and delete data, eject it, and insert it into another disk drive on another system and have all your data immediately accessible. CD-RW drives can burn or write to CD-RW disks, erase CD-RW disks, and read a CD-ROM disk. A CD-RW drive also has a speed rating. The speed rating includes 3 parameters for a write speed, a rewrite speed, and a CD-RW read speed. All of these are multiples of the original 150 kilobytes per second, 1x speed defined by the first CD-ROM drives. For example, if you have an 8x4x32 CD-RW drive, this means that it can write at 1,200 kilobytes per second. It can rewrite to a CD-RW disk at 600 kilobytes per second, and it can read at 4,800 kilobytes per second. On the bottom of a CD is a series of pits and LANs. These pits and LANs are used to store binary data. In general, the way it works is that a pit on the surface of the CD doesn't reflect, while a LAN, or flat spot, does reflect. On a CD-ROM, the pits and LANs are etched into the bottom of the CD at the factory. You can't add any data to it, and you can only read data from it. Here's how it works. We have our CD disk right here. We're looking at it from its edge so it looks flat, and we have a laser right here. The laser continuously shines its beam onto the bottom surface of the CD-ROM. If it hits a pit, then nothing is reflected back. If it hits a LAN, a reflection is reflected back. By spinning the disk and moving the laser head underneath the disk, the drive can read the binary information. The reflection is captured by a photosensitive device down here, which then converts the pulse of the laser light into zeros and ones. This is binary data that we'll use to process the information off the disk. In this way, a CD can store binary digital data. In fact, a CD can store approximately 650 megabytes of data. But there are varieties that you can purchase at the store that are 700 megabytes. Let's take a look at how a CD-RW drive works. A CD-RW drive stores binary PC data, just like a CD-ROM. However, the way it does it is a little bit different. The bottom surface of a CD-RW drive is coated with a photoreactive crystalline coating. A CD-RW drive has a second high-power write laser. When this laser hits the bottom of this photoreactive material on the bottom of the CD-RW disk, it causes crystals to form. This is called phase shifting or a phase shifting media. Wherever a crystal is formed on the bottom of a CD-RW disk is like a land on a CD-ROM disk because it reflects light. So to review, we learned about CDs, how data is stored to a CD, and the different formats of a CD, like CD-ROM and a CD rewritable. We also talked about the different capacities and speeds of each type of compact disc.